Here at Jane Sanders Stadium, a packed house expected for what should be an incredible Sunday between two. And the hit parade was the home run party. 4 long balls smashed by the Stanford.
They're going to find a way to get on base, and Lindsey Grind, she is the one that is going to be in the circle. She can be fiery. She has good stuff. If she brings her A game, that's what she's going to have to do today to find a way to stop the Cardinals.
It is Oregon hole, and Stephanie Maake also moves up a couple of spots. With California gets the start once again in the circle at 15-5.
Of a staff of 3 that you've kind of stuck with. Only a couple innings in the first game against Oregon in this regional that Chung threw. You know, we talked about it. Which pitcher would Stanford go with? I think that you go with your ace in a final. See how long she can go. But Alyssa Houston in that first game was pretty phenomenal.
2 straight out of the zone from Chung as Lushar digs back in. You see the scouting report on Kylie.
Now she's going to throw in the low 60s. She has vertical break up and down, and then a changeup as well. And really to get the strike call low in the zone or up. Try to feed the defense with those pitches. Pop flies, ground balls, and then mix that changeup to keep batters off timing. That is the goal for Kylie Chung in the circle.
Kylie Sharp 4 for 9 here in Eugene. Two and 2.
And one of the many successes that Stanford had in their first game against Oregon was that they kept Kylie Sharp off the base path. Her speed, so dangerous. If you keep her off the base path, you can't do anything with it. Ultimately, became a big value for what they were able to do defensively.
And that hitter, Lushar, standing at first base, and a great start for Oregon. You know about her speed, leads the country in stolen bags this season with 57 in 64 attempts, the all-time leading record holder in the stolen base department at Oregon.
Hit by pitches, something that has plagued this pitching staff. Not a good start here to set the tone defensively. Putting speed on the base path, also with no outs.
And it's not a question of if, it's a matter of when. One of the fastest players in America. And you see Stanford, you talked about it, Jenny, 68th player that's been hit by a pitch this season by Cardinal pitching. And now the younger sister, Kedri Lushar. Both seniors, both at the top. Coach Lombardi's batting order today, and a first pitch strike from Chung.
What's interesting about this to me is that with Paige Sinicki in the 2 spot, which is what has been typical of their lineup, you typically see her work to kind of drop a bunt, a sack bunt situation. But with Lushar now in the 2 spot, hitting as well as she is, different dynamic.
5 for 11 this weekend. This one will stay up long enough for Emily Jones. Out in center field, and there's one away.
That was kind of my thought. You'd expect to see Kedri Lushar go and work to swing away. Instead, take your chances at contact hitting there, more so than a sack bunt to move Kylie Lushar over. But now a situation where you're probably expecting to see some sort of base stealing here.
Kylie Lushar remains at first. Riley McCoy, freshman first baseman, Oaks Christian School, paces Oregon in home runs this year. 3 hits this weekend, and that batting average a shade under 400. One and one. Well, the Oregon Ducks have taken the long road to get to this Sunday after losing to Stanford yesterday 14-1. Bounce back victory late last night against Weber State. The quick turnaround today. Been an entertaining regional thus far with all 4 teams. And you kind of got the sense, the brackets came out, would be a good chance that Oregon and Stanford would be at it at least twice. And a brief stoppage in play here as not sure what happened, but Jessica Allister out of the dugout for the Cardinal for a moment. And our home plate umpire Smokey Eds took notice, and we're set to resume play. Ball and a strike to Riley McCoy. Bouchard takes off. Called strike, and the throw not in time. Fourth stolen base here in Eugene this weekend for Kyla Jar, and number 58 this season.
Like you said, not if, but when. And this was one of the better throws we've seen in this region, but still not in time with the speed that you see from Kyla Jar. A great jump, and with great speed and great on time from the release, she gets to second base.
How important is it for Oregon to get off to a really strong start today?
Well, their motto is always start fast, stay fast, finish fast, but absolutely. I mean, especially the way the game ended on that 14-1 loss, not who Oregon is. You've got to set a different tone, and it is about pushing a run across early here.
Quality take by McCoy, a full count. Bouchard at second in scoring position.
And I think if anything about that, it's about A, believing that you can, but B, going on defense and continuing that energy. And to me, Oregon's such an energy team. You've got to be fiery.
And the payoff stays high and out of the zone. First walk issued by Chung. Runners at first and second, just one away.
You can see the energy from the dugout. You feel it a little bit with the Ducks. This is a very big home crowd here in the Jane. You need them as much as the dugout to keep that energy, to continue to feel it.
Stephanie Maake, 3 for 11 this weekend. Her 3 games with the Ducks, and has moved up 2 spots in Missy Lombardi's batting order today, providing energy and some pop closer to the top, and a first pitch strike on the swing and miss. San Diego native, Big Ten all-freshman team this year. And has been a ton of fun to watch with her electricity this weekend. Off speed and outside.
When we talk about the electricity that she brings, she is not just bringing it to her team either. With one swing of the bat, you can hear the oohs and the ahs of the fans. And sometimes, to me, you put her in the 4th spot, just the electricity that she can bring everywhere in this stadium, that matters.
Ball got stuck right on the chalk. Bouchard racing into third. And now 60 feet away.
And speed will get you. That ball didn't even get away from Clemens. She just could not locate it for half a second, and that was enough for Bouchard to get all the way to third.
So she advances on the pass ball. Maake takes high again, and it's 3-1. So Chung struggling to find that strike zone here early.
Not only that, you got a 3-1 count. You're in a 1st and 3rd situation with speed at 3rd. To me, you make any kind of throw towards second base at this point, Bouchard is going to take home. You've got to know what to do here.
She may take it straight into the Oregon dugout with the first run of the game. Pitch comes in low. Maake with something to say to this capacity crowd. And the Ducks have him loaded. Second walk issued by Chung.
Walks and hit by pitches. Something that Chung and this entire pitching staff has struggled with. Again, the ACC leads in batting average against in terms of best. but they also led hit by pitches and walks. They pounded the zone. They were successful. But they also struggled in getting batters on base. And here you're seeing what happens when they struggle. Not getting that ball across the plate.
What a moment for Paige Sinicki. Bumped down 3 spots in the batting order and comes up with the bases loaded. Bouchard advancing to third. They changed it from a pass ball to a wild pitch. Sinicki, another senior out of Henderson, Nevada. And the 1-0 from Chung.
"13 balls, 7 strikes." Just missing entirely too much in the zone. Chung's changeup has to come in as a strike.
3-0. No room for Sinicki. Now the Ducks have to win 2 today. It is a long road to get to the Supers. But a great start imperative. They are on the verge. And Chung delivers. High and out of the zone. An RBI for Sinicki, and it's 1-0 Oregon. 3 straight walks. And Jenny, the Ducks still have him loaded without a base hit and already a 1-run advantage.
And I think if you're saying, you know, why isn't Stanford considering a pitching change at this moment? It's because they don't have depth in pitching. And you have to allow, and Coach Allister talked to us about this, you have to work your pitchers through tougher situations and leave them in maybe a little longer than you're typically used to. Make them fight through situations because you don't have the depth to switch them out as quickly as you normally would.
And now 11 straight out of the zone for Chung. Make it 12. Emma Cox, hard-hitting catcher. The Oregon hitter.
12 straight balls thrown by Kylie Chung. That one not missing by much, but still not getting the strike call on it at this point. You've got to feed the plate. Force these Oregon batters to hit the ball. Much better pitch there. There's the changeup in the strike zone. Kylie Chung was successful in the regional with that pitch. That's where she's got to trust herself, trust her stuff, trust her defense.
Cox, the freshman out of Thornton, Colorado. 2 for 9 this weekend here in Eugene. And excuse me swing, she did go around. Smokey Eds confirms. And it's 1-2, and that's a big call.
And his first time that Chung has gotten ahead in the count. And it does break the plane of the plate. Good call by the first place umpire, Todd Foy. Two
balls and 2 strikes. Bases loaded, 1 away. 1 run is in for the home team, Oregon, that technically is the visitor today in batting first. Popped up, foul territory in front of the Ducks dugout for out number 2. Jade Berry able to corral it quickly. And perhaps new life for Kylie Chung.
Yeah, and how big of an out, because it's an infield out. Runners cannot advance. If you're Chung, you've got to take a deep breath on that. Your defense worked for you. You threw a pitch in a zone where a batter did not connect with it. You've got to be able to trust your stuff enough that these batters aren't going to tee off on it.
Tiziana Patman inside for ball 1.
I was going to say, with that said, these Oregon hitters are good. And when you feel energy from them, and they're starting fast and bringing energy, and this fan base is bringing energy, it's hard not to feel like something big is going to happen from them. Sometimes when you feel that and you let it get to you, all of a sudden your pitches start missing, especially when you're used to feeling like free passes, hit by pitches and walks are things that plague you, and you started out with hit by pitches and walks.
2-0 on the way, and a called strike. Patman 3 for 9 this weekend with a home run. Senior out of San Diego, Patrick Henry High School. And you can feel momentum teetering suddenly after Oregon stormed out with those 3 straight walks after the hit by pitch. Chung trying to steal it right back. 2-2.
And timely hitting is everything. Patman, to me, somebody that, you know, in this lineup, you talk about the Luchar sisters, you talk about Riley McCoy, who's been solid, but Patman has come through big with some big hits throughout the year.
Back through the circle. Corralled quickly to throw to first. Not in time. Mailer did everything she could at shortstop. Another run scores. McCoy races home, and it's 2-0 Ducks.
And this one almost looked like it had the opportunity to potentially take second, but no, not an opportunity at second on that replay. Mailer, no room for second. A throw to first was too late. That ball was just a slow roller. Well placed. Not intended by Patman, but whatever works.
Kaylin Jones lines out to Kern.
Tends to get to pitchers, but it's necessary today for her to show up big. Starting here with the lead, which I think is helpful for any pitcher. She really is best with high energy. She's going to throw high 60s. Go rise ball. She can go down in the zone. She's got a changeup as well, but the rise ball changeup combo is really what makes her successful, and that high energy.
Taryn Kern over to second into the shift, and not in time. The ball was dropped by McCoy. Well, kind of awkward timing there with Jones.
And the shift was perfectly set up. You see the pitch, Kern, when she hits it to the right side, she rolls over it and tends to ground out. But as soon as it was bobbled here, it ended up just kind of being like a bullet to first base by Jones. Almost too hard. Dropped.
And the ball stops dead right beside home plate. And finally ruled foul. So E4 puts Kern over at first. And after a 16-minute top half of the first inning, already things have become quite interesting in Eugene.
And even here, a shaky first couple pitches by the defense here from the Ducks. E4, that bunt there. There's some questioning. Cox didn't pick it up right away. Home plate Smokey Eds wouldn't call it foul
Ball stayed
until
there
she
for an
touched
eternity.
it. Everybody staring at him until he would call it. I think Cox then called a timeout just to kind of have a little bit of a reset there in the circle to say, okay, let's take a breath for a second. Reset ourselves.
Emily Jones, 5 hits this weekend. Down the left field line in foul territory. And Kyle Luchar grabs it for out number 1. We've seen some incredible plays made in the outfield this weekend by the Luchar sisters. Kai's about a year older than Kedry. Kedry in center, Kai in left. And here's River Mailer. Big numbers for Mailer this year. First team all ACC in Stanford's first season in the Atlantic Coast Conference. 2 for 6 this weekend with a home run. 430 overall in the campaign. Well, I think you and I debated all morning long, what would Stanford do in the circle? Would it be Alyssa Houston? Would it be Kylie Chung? And then the next conversation shifted to Lindsey Grime. And how would she begin this game? Would it be the pitcher we saw against Weber State right away? One out of the bullpen yesterday, which wasn't bad as the rise ball stays high and towards the backstop. And Kern advances on the wild pitch. But Grine is the kind of player, the emotions are on the sleeve. You're going to understand rather quickly what she's going to bring to the circle.
Yeah, I think we've seen 2 different Lindsey Grines this weekend. We've seen a fiery one and we've seen a tired one.
That'll sneak through the left side of the infield into left field for a knock. Kern's going to be given the stop sign at third. And now Stanford with 2 aboard and just 1 away.
This is a lineup that'll kind of wear you down. They'll just get their barrel on it. This was the tip of the bat. Mailer just sends it through the infield in the 5-6 hole because of that wild pitch. Kern's at second already. Now first and third situation for Stanford. Staying aggressive on the pitches for Grine. And when you have a high energy pitcher, energy means everything. Sometimes I'm a fan of pitchers that show 0 emotion. You never know if they're tired, they're not tired, they're ready to go, they're not ready to go. You have no idea. High energy pitchers, you can see it all, which means that you have a high expectation or a high responsibility to continue to show that energy regardless. I think we've seen a little bit of a roller coaster from Grine in that energy. Showing high speed in her pitches today, though.
0-2 to Jade Berry, stays high. The throw down to second, and the stolen base for River Mailer, her 9th of the season. Well, you know Stanford's going to apply pressure. You coined the phrase earlier this weekend, their slow burn with their offense. They can do it that way or can show you the power with the 4 home runs against the Ducks yesterday. Foul territory, and will reach the turf quickly.
And Grine's been living on that outside corner to these lefty batters. She's been getting that a little bit of a wide corner. Mailer did a good job hitting it, but she's going to get that outside corner. Maybe work that ladder, throw it a little bit further out. She's doing a good job, Grine, getting ahead on these batters as well.
To the backstop, Kern going to try to get home, and she does, sliding in safely. And Stanford responds right away. It's now 2-1. Taking third base is River Mailer.
And this one just getting away from Grine. That's her second wild pitch. Bounces off the wall. Takes a bad hop and gets away from Cox. Nothing they can do about that. Taryn Kern gets 2 bases on wild pitches that ultimately allows her to score. And those are the things, if you're Oregon, you cannot give Stanford anything.
Lee Sokolsky getting loose. Missy Lombardi out of the dugout. What do you think the message was there?
I mean, if I'm a coach, I'm saying we better clean it up, but in a nicer way than that. But ultimately, and you can see the body language on Lindsey Grime there immediately right now, that if you're Missy Lombardi, you've got to have that message some way. There's some fire right there. Maybe it was that. Maybe a little bit tougher message than you're typically hearing is, hey, we better pick it up right now.
First strikeout for Grine, 2 away, and Mailer remains at third base.
And there's a pitch beautifully on that corner, and this is the first fire that we have seen from her, to me, that is the expected fire from Lindsey Grime that we need to see.
And a little more juice at 67. Out of the zone, Kira Chan. Junior out of San Diego. Chan's made some unbelievable plays in left field at times this week. And would you know it, to the backstop again. Bro not in time. Mailer ties it up at 2. Well, it has been feast or famine in this first inning for both starting pitchers.
This ball just slips right out of her hand. You cannot throw a ball this far into the dirt and expect your catcher Cox to be able to block that. Third wild pitch of this inning. This is an Oregon Duck team that has been intentional about their goals all year long, and really, at this point in the first inning, the question is, how bad do you want it? How bad do you want to fight for it? I think, to me, that's the question here. Clean it up. You have clean defense and let your offense fight.
Upstairs, and the walk. First issued by Grind. Inning continues for Stanford. And from Chan to Economides.
If you think about it, when you have a team like Stanford that, I mean, I'm going to say scores easily. I think scoring is difficult no matter what, but Stanford seems to do it easier than others. And Oregon finally played some. You want to keep that lead as much as possible. And that means that your defense has to play cleanly.
0-1 the count, and the appeal down. First base umpire Todd Foy. Joey Economides did have a home run yesterday against Grind, 1 for 5 in her 2 games. Only the second time that's happened in the history of the Big Sky Conference in postseason play. Binghamton was also a part of this regional here in Eugene and turned in an impressive performance for head coach Jess Bump. Tied at 2 here in the top of the second inning. Jenny Ritter, Roy Philpott, Kylie Chung remains in the circle for Stanford as Katie Flannery takes low for ball 1. All right, what else you got for me today? Because we've seen it all this weekend in first inning, a little bit of everything with the wild pitches, the free pass, the hit batter. I think we had a hit or 2 and a couple of unearned runs.
I mean, I kind of have no words. Buckle up. I mean, if you haven't buckled up by now, you better buckle up.
You're in trouble. Well, you think back to today and what we've seen in this year's NCAA softball regionals, and LSU being ousted down in Baton Rouge. Texas A&M was trailing Liberty earlier this afternoon 6-1 before they were able to come back and force a winner-take-all game 7 down in College Station. And you just never know what the mayhem is going to look and feel like. This year it seems extra spicy.
Yeah, it was one of those things to me where I knew it was going to be a wild mayhem, but I did not anticipate it being this wild. 4 straight pitches.
And I want to correct myself. Texas A&M and Liberty are still playing.
Still playing.
They are tied at 11.
Unbelievable.
So Liberty came back trailing 10-7 late after leading 6-1 early. And you felt like the writing was on the wall as we were watching that one. The Aggies would find a way. No, that has not happened yet. Meanwhile, the leadoff walk to Katie Flannery, and it's back to the top of the order. And guess who?
The speed on the base path. It's mayhem, y'all.
You have to embrace it at this point.
Have I mentioned to buckle up? Again, this is why free passes matter, right? You put too many free passes on, you put too many runners on the base path, you see Kai Luchar too much. I mean, this is part of a game plan to me, both as a pitcher and a defense. Avoid the batters that are the most difficult to face. To me, that's like #1 of a pitcher. avoid them. You can't be facing them every inning. That is not good for you.
Lushar slaps it out of the glove of Chung. They'll try to get the lead runner, and they cannot. Well, Mailer has been active in these first two frames and had some interesting plays on some awkward hits in her direction.
Well, as soon as this was hit, if you notice, Mailer, there was no chance for Mailer to even try at first base. You had to try at second to go after Katie Flannery. That wasn't going to happen either. She did the best she could, but 2 on, decent speed. And Katie Flannery as well.
Through the right side of the infield. Here comes Flannery. Ducks back on top. And it didn't take long. The walk in back-to-back singles. Oregon with runners at second and third. And they'll give Lushar the double as she advances quickly. And it's 3-2.
And Kedri Lushar, to put her in that 2 spot, the way she's been hitting, to me, is one of the best coaching decisions Missy Lombardi could do. Just because she has been so phenomenal at being able to put the ball in play. She does it so quickly too. She connects with the ball, and with the speed of Kai Lushar and even Katie Flannery in that 9 spot, to be able to put them on and score some RBI in that position, I love the decision. I think it's great. And this is just a coaching conversation. I think it's reset and figure it out. Again, you are in a position now where you're in a dogfight. It's too early in the game. You do not have depth in your pitching staff. You cannot, to me, if you're Jessica Allister, you have to decide now. You're in this predicament of, do I switch pitchers up? Because if I do, does that cut me too short if I don't win this game and I have to go and ride a pitcher for game 2 because we don't win this game? Now you're stuck in a really tough predicament. You've got to try to figure out how to right the way with Kylie Chung, I think.
Here's McCoy inside for ball 1. Kai Lushar at third, Kedri Lushar at second. And the Ducks are cooking early. McCoy walked her first time up. Later came around to score. Fly ball to deep left. And it is gone. The 3-run jack.
And Riley McCoy, the freshman who's never acted like a freshman, sends this one. This is a moonshot. Watches it go. Knows it's out of here. A no doubter. 2 on. How about those Ducks setting a statement here? They've started fast. I love the energy. This is the energy the Oregon Ducks can bring, the belief they have. And how about the freshmen to continue and set the tone and continue to make them believe.
Oregon Ducks this season 39-0 when belting a home run. And now a 4-run lead, and they have knocked Kylie Chung out of this game. And it's still early in Eugene, and a new pitcher, Zoe Pristaiko, in the circle for the Cardinal. Maake takes a first pitch strike. Well, you could feel this venue come to life in a different way than it has so far this weekend. Pristaiko at 12-4 this season. And now it's 0-2.
Yeah, I feel I mean, that was a tough decision that, you know, from a pitching perspective, I feel like Coach Allister had to make the decision of, I'm gonna either have the tough talk and say, hey, figure it out, or I have to make the pitching decision, and it was maybe one pitch too late. But McCoy is such a tough out just as a freshman.
Back up the middle, Maake reaches first, the ball gets to the wall. Jones unable to come up with it cleanly. Listen to this crowd.
Stephanie Maake, maybe the most electric and exciting player. These fans love her. The team loves her. Another freshman that connects with a pitch off Prostaico. My favorite thing about hitters is when you welcome a new pitcher to the game by just sending one to the outfield. She does it here.
Single and the EA, the bunt down. Prostaico fires to first in time. Maake takes third. Oh, the sacrifice has Oregon with another run just 60 feet away.
You almost go back to that meeting with Missy Lombardi in the circle there in the first inning. It was heated. The question is, how bad did they want it at that moment? And you can see the response here.
Emma Cox, big cut, fouls it away. Cox, a three sports standout for Flatirons Academy over in Thornton, Colorado. Helped lead that program to a state title in basketball. 2 straight seasons. Also an all-conference performer in volleyball. And the Ducks tonight on fire with runners in scoring position. Already 3 hits. Cox to left center. Maake's going to tag. Throw will be cut off. 7-2 Oregon. Cox with a sacrifice fly. 2 away in the top of the second. We've got 9 runs on the board.
And this is an elevated pitch. Cox goes up and gets it. Gets enough distance for Maake to tag and go. How about firing the fans up?
Now the center field bleachers, they call it the Bob here in Eugene, starting to fill up. And this crowd has been on the edge of its seat since the first pitch. Des Patman. Strike 2.
Prostaico has deceptive spin. She's going to have to use it. Mix it up. Mix that changeup. It's hard to walk into a game when you've got a team that has all the momentum on their side. They're feeling it, especially for a young freshman.
And if you're Lindsey Grime in the Oregon dugout right now, been spotted a 5-run lead. You think about her mentality and what it's going to take, because Stanford still boasts one of the top offenses in the land. They're not going anywhere.
I mean, it should be a shot of adrenaline for your energy. Hopefully, that's something for Lindsey Grime, that you should be able to walk in and feel comfortable with a lead. And you've got a big lead, 5-spot lead here.
Leading hitter for Stanford this weekend with 5 hits so far. She's driven in 3. Been a very difficult out, the senior out of Scottsdale. Changeup stays high. Now that Texas A&M Liberty game, 14-11. Extra innings currently in the 8th down in College Station. The winner of that regional faces the winner of this regional. And we felt as if that winner had been decided 2 or 3 different times today, either forcing a game 7 or Liberty going to run away with it. Then the Flames come back, and now A&M has rallied yet again.
That region's been almost as wild as this one.
Certainly there have been more upsets there, it feels like, but very similar in terms of trajectory and the national seed struggling at times. 3-2. A&M, of course, the #1 seed, was on the verge of being eliminated and has already lost to Liberty once. Payoff from Grind, one of the top pitchers in America. Single right past the circle. Jones up with it and fires in time.
And you saw the energy from Kaylin Jones. Makes the play. This is a routine ground ball, but they made that play and celebrated it. And to me, that's that energy. They need to carry that from the first pitch to the last pitch. This is the Oregon Duck team. Start fast, stay fast, finish fast. That is the expectation. They get on cruise control sometimes, and that's when they tend to struggle or not finish through a game. And with this Stanford team being as good as they are offensively, that is kind of what you have to do. Celebrate every moment.
Boy, the crowd almost willing that last strike call. 0-2. And Grind is right back at it, and you can tell she has reestablished that rhythm. Her second strikeout as Chung goes down swinging.
And now we're starting to see a little bit of a strut from Lindsey Grind. We're starting to see some better energy and better movement. This was just chasing a pitch by Kylie Chung, though. Started at the shoulders and jumped a little bit more. One of the things that this 1 through 9 lineup does for Stanford so well is that they commit to a game plan. And they're very disciplined. If they begin chasing and expanding a strike zone, getting away from the game plan, that's when they are less successful.
Texas A&M has stormed back to defeat the Liberty Flames 14-11. And now that regional moves to a winner-take-all game 7 tonight in College Station. Clements, a shot to left field. That one's got some juice and it's gone. Allie Clements, her second home run here in Eugene. And it's 7-3.
Allie Clements in that 9 spot. She has come up big. It's her second home run of this regional. No 2 count. Pitch way too close to give up a home run when you've got 2 strikes on a batter working the ladder. Stanford's 99th home run of the season. Talk about a slow burn. We saw them do this before. Solo home run, 4 of them against Oregon before.
You and I looked at each other during that last break. We pointed to the scoreboard and I said, Jenny, Oregon stays at 7 runs. That may not be enough in a game like this. It's got that 15-14 kind of vibe to it.
There's a weird calmness about the Cardinal dugout right now that makes me feel like they don't think there's a second that they're out of this game right now.
Shift is on for Taryn Kern. She'll go the opposite way and foul it away.
And as much energy as there is on this Oregon Duck team, that you can feel like there's something going for them, it's not phasing the Cardinal at all. Very interesting. Usually you feel defeat already, and there's a lot of ball game left.
Bryan with 2 strikeouts. Kern sends it into right field. Up with it quickly is Lushar, and the inning continues.
And Taryn Kern is such a solid hitter. Takes her hands to the ball, just drives this into the outfield. Beautiful extension.
Missy Lombardi out of the dugout, now back to it. Crowd re-engaged, imploring Lindsey Grime. We're in the bottom of the second, and it's 7-3. Emily Jones to left center field. That one slicing away from Lushar. Oh, and she made the catch. With Liberty and Texas A&M headed towards a winner-take-all Game 7. That could prompt some interesting circumstances when it comes to potentially hosting next week. We'll talk more about that deeper into this game, and perhaps later on tonight what could be a Game 7 in Eugene. But I think you and I both felt the energy that she was talking about. I don't want to suggest it was a nervous energy, but certainly on edge as Kaylin Jones gets it to Kern off the glove of the Stanford pitcher. And the leadoff batter aboard again for the Oregon Ducks.
The amount of hops that have gone to the pitcher off the glove. This one taking a high hop. Nothing Kern can do at this point. These batters, these slappers using the ground, pounding the ball into the ground has been successful today so far.
So Jones aboard on the single to second base, and it's back to Katie Flannery. An electric start in Eugene. Advantage Oregon. It's always interesting to me too when you're the national seed and you know it's going to happen. You're hosting and you are the visiting team. And on a day like today, that always raises some eyebrows, but it creates a unique situation that fans aren't necessarily used to. Right past Pristaiko, the run to second, and it's in time. So a heads-up play by River Mailer to get the lead runner at second base. And let's see if a challenge is coming.
I think this was a heads up. This was kind of like a little bit of a knuckleball. Prosecco holds back on it. Ooh. That was closer than it looked. To me, I thought it looked like Mailer got her foot down. I think she does here. You can kind of see some space there. Mailer's foot is on the bag there. A little bit of space between the sliding mitt and the bag.
It's interesting because Mailer and Kern were both at second base at the same time, and Kern, it felt like, was stepping on the bag almost at the same time that Mailer was.
Yeah, and it was good heads up for Mailer to take it herself instead of trying to make that toss. That could have gotten a little bit wonky and maybe caused some bobbling or even more time.
Well, Missy Lombardi came out of the dugout, and that enabled a little more time to pass to understand whether or not a challenge would be warranted. It was not, and that was the right call on Oregon's part, and there's one away. So it's back to the top of the order. And you and I have talked about this all weekend long. In the game last night against Weber State, it felt like for 4 or 5 innings in a row, Kai Lushar was leading off or batting at some point in those frames. And again, now in our 3rd inning, this is the 3rd plate appearance for Kai.
Yeah, and again, Kai Lushar coming up every inning. That sounds like a nightmare to me as a pitcher, like a nightmare. You do not want her speed up that often. The plus, at least for Stanford, is that there has been a runner on base 2 of those 3 times in front of her. And so it has limited her ability to steal on the upside, if there is one.
7-3, the top of the 3rd inning. Oregon has to win this game to force a Game 7 here in the Eugene Regional tonight. We've already seen a handful of national seeds be eliminated. Most notably LSU. Texas A&M has been on the ropes all day long, it seems like, but has battled back in College Station, the #1 overall seed. Nebraska ended up advancing to the Supers in Baton Rouge, shutting out Southeastern Louisiana earlier today.
Not a bad inside pitch there to Lushar. You can try to get that inside pitch tight in on Lushar and not get the called strike. It's a big win if you're Pristaico. You can see her trying to grab it there again. It's pretty tight though in the chalk.
Pristaico delivers the payoff. And into foul territory, just past the reach of Economides. Now 10 teams have now punched their tickets to next weekend's Super Regional round. Those get underway on Thursday. 6 more remain, including 1 from here in Eugene. Lushar reaches for the 3rd straight plate appearance in this one. She was hit by a pitch, singled, and now issued the free pass. Flannery at second base for Kedri Lushar.
And we talked about Kedri Lushar. 2024, she batted 192. This year, 466. Look at the difference. Starting position this year, you can't get her out of the lineup. Last year, kind of in and out of the lineup. She credits it to the fact that she, over the summer, just kind of said, I'm going to get back to me. I'm going to stand a little bit taller. You can see on the right side, standing a little bit taller. She was kind of crouched down, bent more in her knees on the left side. That was last season. And that's really ultimately been the difference. She's just got a better stance, sees the ball better, and drives it. Her and coach Sydney Romero did some analytics when she got back to school with the new stance. Kind of backed it up, and they said, hey, let's run with it. It's meant the difference. 500 on-base percentage, the 6 home runs, a massively increased batting average. It'd be interesting to see if Oregon finds a way to win 2 today. They go into this Super Regional. Do they keep Kedri Lushar in that 2 spot?
I think the answer there is
I like it.
Fairly easy.
Feels right. Like, it feels like it's the right thing to do. You got your best hitter there.
Well, how many times did we say yesterday, too? Kai was up, she gets on base, and then Kedri ended up bringing her in, and she was batting 4th, and Kai was leadoff. And today it's now 1st and 2nd in the batting order for head coach Missy Lombardi. And so it just makes sense across multiple levels, even some outside of the softball universe. But now Lushar strikes out. Good pitch from Pristaiko, caught looking was Kedri Lashar.
That was a huge pitch from Pristaiko. Again, talking about how good Kedri Lashar has been. Beautifully on the corner, curveball from the lefty Pristaiko.
Riley McCoy due up next at the 3-run home run. Part of the big difference between these two teams in this game so far. And she's got 2 more aboard now. So a big situation for Zoe Pristaiko and McCoy. 19 home runs this year. Just a freshman. That is tied in Oregon's single season record with that smash.
And McCoy keeps her barrel through the zone so beautifully. And her approach to the plate, so calm, so veteran. Doesn't look confused by any pitch that comes in. Looks like she's been doing it forever. Just a freshman. I love what she does at the plate. I love her approach. And 19 home runs. She's now tied the school record.
It's reached twice today. Was walked and scored in the first inning. 3-run homer in the second. This game has been at Oregon's tempo, its pace so far. Upstairs, it's 2-0. Oregon, the regular season champions of the Big Ten. First season for the Ducks in that conference. Ended up being eliminated by Michigan in the Big Ten tournament in West Lafayette. But Missy Lombardi was named the Big Ten Coach of the Year. And the Ducks have acclimated themselves very well in the new territory. 3 straight out of the zone to McCoy. These two teams met more than 100 times as members of the Pac-12. And that hit her right off the arm. And the Ducks threatening to run away with this one early. Now have them loaded again. 2 outs in the top of the 3rd.
And this one is a curveball that, yeah, if you can throw a lefty curveball in on a righty, it's a great pitch. But it also is cutting across your body if you're a lefty into a righty, and commonly ends up a hit by pitch if you can't control it in. That's what happens there to Riley McCoy.
Here's Stephanie Maake. Popped up. It'll stay in the infield, and River Mailer will end the scoring threat. 3, 4, and 5 due up first for the Cardinal. River Mailer to left field, and Kylie Shar underneath at the track. Well, Jenny, we talked about it briefly. The upset, LSU ousted as a national seed in Baton Rouge. Duke on the precipice of perhaps the same thing occurring in Durham. Georgia 2-run lead in the top of the 8th inning against the Duke Blue Devils, but we have 10 teams that have already punched their ticket into the Super Regional round, which begins Thursday. And that, of course, brings a certain level of excitement as Jay Barry sends it to left field. And on back-to-back pitches, 2 outs for Lindsey Grime. Clemson and South Carolina, impressive wins earlier today. Go to the Supers for the 3rd time in school history, both sides. And you take a look at what these other teams have done in Nebraska out of Baton Rouge that we talked about. What else interests you in that list so far?
Well, there's a lot of SEC in there, as expected, I think. Jordy Ball has made it back with Nebraska. I think that you show a lot of leadership with what she's done for Nebraska. Obviously from that LSU region. Some good teams, Texas Tech, Magic Canada, you expect.
Alabama and Oklahoma coming up next weekend. Remember what happened in Tuscaloosa in the regular season. Those two certainly have some history.
I circled that one on my bracket the day selection show came out with the matchups.
Eugene Regional matched up with the College Station Regional. Upper part of the zone to Kira Chan. 3 balls and a strike. Popped up left side of the infield. Flannery is there, and for the first time this weekend, Oregon pitching delivers a 1-2-3 frame.
Conversation. There was no energy or low energy. It almost looked like they were nervous about what Stanford was going to do, and then immediately after that, it was like they snapped out of it. I think there was a strikeout after it. There was energy from Lindsey Grine. And all of a sudden, their at-bats were better when they got back out on offense. And I mean, the rest is history at this point, a 7-3 lead. And the energy's kind of stayed on their side so far.
Paige Sinicki has batted in that 2-hole majority of this season. Now has been bumped down to 5th. And it's 2 balls and a strike. Zoe Prostyka remains in the circle for Stanford. Sinicki, one of the mainstays of this batting order for the Ducks, a senior. Former Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year. Over the top of that offering, and it's 2-2.
We heard Coach Allister talk too that, you know, she said, I think our team just needs to calm down, and you can almost feel that Stanford has also calmed down.
Well, she swung at that one at eye level, and Sinicki, leadoff batter aboard again for the Oregon Ducks. I mean, she went up to grab it, send it into left field.
And I think Sinicki, you know, she was moved out of that 2 position, but it's not because she wasn't hitting. And she's continued what she's been able to do. Finds a way to kind of be almost like a little bit of a second leadoff hitter here.
Emma Cox to short. Mailer. Kern with the turn and the double play.
That was a beautifully done, tailor-made double play to River Mailer. Taryn Kern steps on the bag, fires it all the way to Joey Economides. 2 quick outs for Stanford.
Des Patman, first pitch low and away. So Cox hits into the 6-4-3. Patman's 1 for 2, now hitting above 300. Popped up to shallow center. And now drifting backwards is Emily Jones. Filled by. Jane Sanders Stadium has been electric today. The Ducks, they also have to win 2 to advance to the Super Regional round that gets started on Thursday. And a new final as Georgia has just eliminated for 14 seed Duke. Well, the Blue Devils out of the ACC join LSU out of the SEC as top 16 teams to be ousted. Win by Stanford today, either in this game or perhaps later on in Game 7. Cardinal would oust the number 16 seed Oregon Ducks. Joey Economides, a ball and 2 strikes. And the lights have come on here at the Jane. This crowd has been engaged. Very first pitch today. Different energy than what we witnessed yesterday in the first meeting between these two. A 14-1 Stanford run rule victory.
Yeah, I think you're seeing an Oregon Ducks team that has a lot of fight in them, a lot of belief, knowing they have to put on a good show today, stay in it. And they've hunkered down for a long day. I mean, you have to walk into today, if you're the Ducks, saying, hey, we've got 2. You wake up that way. It's a much different feeling than Stanford. You wake up and you say, hey, we're planning on 1, but we're prepared for 2.
Well, the key so far in that department, Alyssa Houston, the Cardinal, shut down this Oregon offense yesterday and was a real difference maker. We have yet to see her. Kylie Chung got the start. Zoe Pristaiko has been in the circle since, and you see Houston down there in the dugout as Economides draws the walk. And the leadoff batter aboard for the Cardinal.
And at this point, Houston's a little bit of a secret weapon for Stanford, and you're kind of put in a situation where you almost have to save her for game 2, being behind here in this game.
That would be the plan, right?
Yeah, well, if you're winning this game, you can almost say, okay, you can put her in as a closer. But if you're not winning this game, you don't even put her in. I mean, you can't put her in until you put her in a situation where you have a chance to win this game. But she was superb against the Ducks. They did not figure her out.
Her numbers tremendous yesterday,
yeah,
and actually was second in the ACC this year in strikeouts. You see those 7 Ks against the Ducks. And it feels like her momentum has a real chance to carry over if she enters the circle at any point.
And different days, different results. It doesn't mean that, you know, a pitcher can walk in and have the same results against an offense that may see her differently and things like that. But, you know, she walks in and throws the same way she did, and Oregon doesn't make adjustments. It's her day all day long.
Buckley, the new runner at first base for the Cardinal. Kylie Buckley out of Massachusetts, Andover Phillips High School. Line just missed.
And that pitch low and away. A good call. Behind the plate, Smokey Eds. Fan base
on
did
the
not like
umpire
it.
side, it feels like most of this weekend.
You know, he's had some wide calls, at least in this game, but that call was low.
Into the gap, and Koch sends it all the way to the wall. Buckley will be held at third. The throw in at second, not in time. And the Cardinal with 2 aboard in scoring position, no one out in the 4th. 6th hit of this weekend in Eugene for Kaylin Koch.
Kaylin Koch has been seeing the ball beautifully. This one was brought in on the corner. Kaylin Koch sees it and drives it into the gap. Barrels it up beautifully. Good speed on the base path by Kylie Buckley. That's why you put a pinch runner in. Kaylin Koch gets all the way to second base.
Jenny, that's her 18th double of the season.
And talk about that slow burn from the Stanford Cardinal. They just continue to find a way. Doesn't ever seem like they slow up offensively.
And the Oregon Ducks, the verge of making a pitching change as Elise Sokolski waits for the official word, and there it is. Well, a lot of wheels in motion here, considering this is a game the Ducks have to have, and there could be a game 7 later tonight. And a great exchange between teammates, Grine and Sokolski. And this crowd on its feet for Lindsey Grine. As we step aside in Eugene, Stanford on the comeback trail. Game against Stanford just 1 day ago before giving way to Lindsey Grine. Now the roles are reversed. 16-4, 2.00 ERA.
Here's the thing with the pitching staff here for Oregon is Elise Sokolski has been solid for this pitching staff for Oregon. She throws all quadrants. She's got a changeup that she mixes in, and she has the ability to split with Lindsey Grine and be very successful. when they played Stanford yesterday, they went through virtually their entire pitching staff. So to split here makes sense. You can see Stanford really starting to hit Lindsey Grine a little bit. So to split makes sense. The question is, they come out with a win here. You've virtually shown your cards a little bit more, your pitching staff. What do you do in game 2?
Past the circle, over to short. The hesitation towards home, and Chung's going to be thrown out. Well, Paige Sinicki had to wait for it, and she did. In kind of an antsy play, the senior shortstop made the right call.
You know, though, Paige Sinicki is one of the best defending shortstops that I've ever seen. And take a look at this, how much time she has. She charges this. She takes 2 looks at home just to make sure that she can get the out there to save that run before she makes the play at first base. 187th start consecutively at shortstop.
You know what you're doing, right?
You know what you're doing. As a pitcher, if you could find a way to get ground balls to shortstop every single time, I'd let him hit it to Paige Sinicki all day long.
And that infield takes a few paces in against Allie Clements. She's had a couple of home runs this weekend. Ball and a strike to count. I mean, Sinicki, it was almost the double hesitating look towards home plate. It made me antsy in the booth. But still plenty of time to deliver a strike to McCoy at first base and get Chung. This one into right field for a base hit. Buckley scores. Stop sign is put up for Danny Hayes, and it's now 7-4. 5th hit in Eugene for Allie Clements. And here come the Cardinals, still just 1 away.
When Allie Clements in that 9 spot, you know, 9 spot looking to just turn over the lineup, but Clements not just turning the lineup, she's finding a way to have some run production there. Scores Buckley easily just by a ground ball through the infield. First and third situation here for Stanford, just 1 out.
And it's back to the top of the order in Taryn Kern.
And they can't put that defensive shift with runners on base on Taryn Kern.
Well, great point there. She has seen it from the Ducks in these 2 games where basically the entire patch of real estate between second and third was available, and not in this plate appearance.
You see the defense playing straight up.
Kern smashes it. It's 1-2. Well, Taryn Kern, we talked about it with her this week. Big Ten performer at Indiana and a tremendous freshman campaign in the Big Ten, then transferring to Stanford, a year in the Pac-12, where the Cardinal moved into the ACC. She has seen a good bit of the collegiate world the last 4 seasons, Jenny.
Quite an adventure for her. She's seen the world, no doubt about it, except at least the U.S. And, you know, it's interesting to kind of get a different look. It's the Big Ten's a hitters conference, and ACC's a pitchers conference. Taryn Kern's always been a solid hitter. This one up in the zone. Holds back on it, right at the letters. Top of the strike zone, lives somewhere around there.
2-2 pitch, fly ball, deep left center field. It continues to go back at the wall. Kedri Luchar. It is deep enough to bring home Hayes from third. And one of the longest sac flies this ballpark has ever seen makes it 7-5.
Sac fly is a sac fly, though. Productive out by Taryn Kern. That one did. It just kept traveling. I didn't think it was going to be that deep at all. Kedri Luchar stays with it. I think Taryn Kern thought that might go out.
She leads Stanford with 19 home runs. Two away for Emily Jones, and Clements remains at first base. So the slow burn of Stanford, and just like that, Jenny, it's now a 2-run game.
Yeah, I agree, and you know, it's kind of how Stanford does it. I mean, we talk about it, slow burn. Stanford finds a way to just kind of chip away a run here and there throughout the course of the game. You never feel like they're ever out of it.
Top scoring team in the ACC. Second in the country in batting average. Jones sends that one foul with home run distance. And into the street right behind. On 18th Avenue.
Well, the reason they're able to kind of have that slow burn, that ability to chip away, is just because 1 through 9 in their lineup can do it all. They can come through with timely hitting. There's no breaks.
And that's what happens when you hit 357 as a team.
Right.
You have one batter hitting below 345 in your starting 9, and that's Clements.
Right.
And guess what she's done this weekend? Mash.
Yeah, she's done okay. So normally you have teams where the bottom of their lineup kind of hits a lull, and then you wait for the top of the lineup to create run production.
Jones leads off. And to prevent the home run off the bat of Taryn Kern. And Jenny, I can't explain any of it.
It's a lot of emotion to go through all of that at bat, Roy.
Welcome to my shoes. That's why my family says I'm the most dramatic person in the house. And that's true. But that was an incredible sequence, and I would tell you the win we've seen all weekend long that does not exist today, had it been present, we'd have a tie game.
Yeah. And that was, I mean, and it was hit high enough too. If you're right, if there was a little bit of a wind, you feel like it kind of would have taken it just a little bit further.
Jones, Pristaico, and it's in time.
I'll tell you what, if she weren't a lefty in that situation, I don't know if she would have gotten that out.
And Jones has plenty of speed.
Yeah. Perfect position there by Pristaico. Look how Pristaico just perfectly sets up and just makes this quick throw. I suppose right-handed positioning there would have been good, but Pristaico made a perfect position to set up and immediately throw off the back foot and make a bullet throw.
She's kept Stanford right in the thick of this game, only trailing by 2. 3 quality innings, and still no signs of Alyssa Houston, who you may need later tonight or later in this game. But Pristaico has been dealing. First time today, an Oregon leadoff batter has been retired.
Great pitch there on the corner. The reason you get your leadoff hitter out is because, at least in the 4th inning, you didn't get her up, but Kai Luchar is due up again this inning for the 4th time in 5 innings.
Checks out.
Checks out.
Feels like she comes up once or twice an inning.
That's how you know you're good.
Yeah, she would tell you that's a great thing if you're an Oregon fan. If you're Stanford, you want to stop that right now. 2-2 to Katie Flannery. And in the on-deck circle, Kyla Shar. She's not ready for her career to come to a close. She knows what's on the line in this game. A pair of seniors, the Shar sisters. Flannery slicing into foul territory. And against the bullpen, a triangle of Stanford players all bounce into the tarp.
Great hustle from all 3 of them.
You got Chan now in right field, Kern the second baseman, Economides at first. Also, Danny Hayes has remained in this game as the new left fielder for the Cardinal. Certainly at some point, Kaylin Koch set to re-enter. Flannery knocked into left. Second hit of the weekend for Katie Flannery. And it's back to the top of the order.
I love when 9-spot hitters are just playing a factor in this game. They're second leadoff hitters, just driving the ball through the infield, getting hits, creating run production or getting on base. And why does that matter? Again, Kyle Lushar now getting Kedry right behind her.
Reagan Legg, the pinch runner, replacing Flannery. What hasn't been said about Kyle Lushar? We talked to Missy Lombardi this week about the intangibles away from the field, and she mentioned her phenomenal leadership. You know about the speed, and the new stolen base record for a career in Oregon history. Right on cue. Runners at first and second. Lushar aboard for the 4th time. She's having fun.
It's almost not even fair. It goes back, I mean, in the 14-1 victory that Stanford had yesterday, Kyle Lushar didn't get on once. And here, you can't get her out.
And her sister Kedry, the hitter. Both seniors. We showed you the change in Kedry's stance. Home run belt goes on, then it comes off. Hugs all around. And the Ducks trying to pour it on. Riley McCoy. She also had 3-run homer back in the second. Well, the wind has died down, and for some reason the ball has been flying out of the Jane today.
If you're Presteico, give up a home run and then have to face somebody like Riley McCoy right after it. Tall order to have to go and reset with a big power hitter.
McCoy 4 for 9 with 2 homers. She hits 1 more this season. That'll be the new single season record.
Kedry Lushar. She just finds this pitch and sends it over the fence. It was on the outside corner. She just gets full extension. That one was well out of here. Sending the heart. Look how happy Mom is.
What a moment.
Blowing the kisses back. What a moment is right. And those 3 runs, I said, is that enough? I mean, we talked about those 7 runs. It was 7-5 for a long while, and you could feel Stanford just getting closer, inching closer. But are those 3 runs enough? And we're getting near the end of this game later in those innings. Those are much needed insurance runs for the Oregon Ducks.
go back to it one more time, and we talked about it with Missy Lombardi. The decision to move Kedry up to the 2 spot has paid big-time dividends today, and she even indicated what we were hinting about. It's one thing to talk about what it can do in terms of production, but the connection between the Lachar sisters adds a little icing on top of the cake, and it makes even more sense.
I agree. You know, my sister and I play together. We're both pitchers, so it's not the same. But if you can follow your sister up, to me, there's something about that. To know that, hey, my sister's on first base. I can push her around. You're right. There's a vibe there. There's something that's going on there that, to me, there's a connection that helps. No doubt about it.
Lawton, the pinch runner at first. Stephanie Maake, the hitter. And you know she has bad intentions here, given her power, electricity she's brought Jane Sanders Stadium this year, her first season in Eugene. Highly talented recruit coming out of San Diego. All-state performer during her time in Southern California. 2 balls and 2 strikes. We've got a long ways to go to get to a winner-take-all Game 7 tonight, but you can start to arrange the tea leaves and just imagine what this venue is going to feel and sound like if we get there. Ake to Mailer, and there's 2 away.
Good positioning by Mailer.
River Mailer has had her fair share of interesting plays in this game. She's been up to the challenge. Sinicki low and away.
The outs have been difficult outs that she's had to make, no doubt about it. I mean, even that one was a bullet.
Shar sisters in this game, batting first and second, with Mom taking in all the action. 4 for 6, a homer, 4 RBIs, 5 runs scored, a walk and a stolen base. Sinicki, center field, in and out of the glove of Jones. Lawn will be waved around home, and Sinicki slides in at third base. Ducks lead it 11-5. The triple for Paige and the RBI.
Paige Sinicki, this pitch up at the letters, but she just lifts it. It looked like it was about to head out of here. Emily Jones, we talked about her competitiveness. She leaps, tries to bring it back in. Looks like it was going to stay in anyway. Gets it in the glove. How about the energy from Sinicki? The hits just keep on coming.
And remember, she moved down to the 5-hole from number 2 in the batting order. She's reached 3 times, also had a sacrifice in the second, single and a triple. And now it appears as if Kylie Chung's going to re-enter. Kylie Chung brought back in.
So not a re-enter here. This is just a defensive switch. Prostaico's actually in the 10 spot as a flex player. Kylie Chung is the DP, so they're tied together. So Prostaico now just switching in defensive position, so they're actually able to switch back and forth as many times as they want.
By design.
By design, correct. So it actually gives a lot of defensive opportunities. So maybe Kylie Chung comes in here. If she struggles again, Prostaico can actually come in again and finish the inning if she has to. So for a short pitching staff, or a small pitching staff, there's actually a little bit of wiggle room and opportunity there.
Now Kai and Kedri Lashar. It has been a special performance tonight in a game the Ducks have to have. A pair of seniors having a conversation before that last AB. And then Kedri Lashar happens again, her second home run of the weekend.
Just so on time with that, sends it over. I love how she raises her hands and knows what she did for her team. We had a chance to talk with them before this regional started, and I just love how dead serious they were when they started talking and said, hey, we've been intentional all year about our plans for this season. Last year, we know we veered off of what we were trying to do. This year, we know we've been intentional. We've talked about it. And look what they've done. This regional combined 13 for 26. They've had 2 home runs, scored 11 runs. Those are ridiculous numbers.
Rosa comes in as a pinch hitter. Ball gets away. Sliding in is Sinicki. 12-5 Ducks. Sinicki scores on the wild pitch. And with 2 away in the top of the 5th inning, party's on in the Oregon dugout. Lead at 7. Gracie Rosa, the hitter. Ducks with 2 in the first, 5 in the second, and now 5 more in the 5th inning. The score holds at winner-take-all Game 7 tonight, right here at Jane Sanders Stadium. Rosa's got some pop in the bat with those 6 home runs this year.
Missy Lombardi's motto: start fast, stay fast, finish fast. It's a team that has kept their foot on the gas pedal and has not given up. They continue to push offensively.
And if you're Oregon here, Jenny, you know you would love to push across 1 more run or more in this inning and have a chance to turn the page, the clean bottom of the 5th, and return the run rule favor from yesterday against one of your former rivals out of the Pac-12.
Well, and I think for more reasons than anything, it's because you want to save your pitching staff.
Well, that was going to be my next question, because I was going to put you in the circle for a second and ask the question, where should Missy Lombardi turn for a pivotal, critical winner-take-all Game 7 tonight, potentially?
Yeah, I mean, number 1, yes, plate the run, because if you're Oregon, you need to save your pitchers. And Sokolsky has been in for a brief moment in this game, and your best opportunity is to limit what she's done to throw. You've got Grind, who you can put back in. You could maybe restart the game. It's so funny when you play a doubleheader. You could put Lindsey Grind in. She could be completely different in Game 2, despite the fact that Stanford just saw her. So you really could redo what you just did in Game 1. It's so funny how that works out. Stanford could do the same thing with the same 2 pitchers they're throwing in this game. Obviously, they have Houston waiting in the wings. But you know that's kind of what's going on in the back of their minds right now.
We saw Stacey Chambers in the dugout as well, also available for the Ducks. Here's Des Patman.
Keep in mind, Oregon used 4 pitchers in the first game yesterday. Exposed, like literally laid all the cards out for Stanford to see.
Patman, cue ball. And in time. Kylie Chung able to fire the strike under pressure. And the lead remains at 7. Duck fans are loving it, but only under the condition that you return to us here on ESPNU to watch the remaining portion of this matchup between Oregon and Stanford. And the Aggies do escape. They head to the bottom of the second in College Station, still scoreless. What an upset that would be if somehow, some way, the Liberty Flames can beat the Aggies twice in the Lone Star State. Nothing in 2 to River Mailer. You can feel the stadium catching its breath for a moment. And these fans are in it for the long haul. They know a win in this game means another game later tonight. There's some fans right in front of us the same that were barking about what the SEC wasn't doing yesterday. Line out to Flannery. Stabs it cleanly right out of the air. And I was going to say they were talking before we came on the air. And they looked at one another and they said, well, we got about 6, maybe 7 hours of softball today. So they were planning on Game 7 tonight.
Planning for 2, no doubt about it. And when you make good defensive plays like this, you better hunker in for 2, because this was a great play. Katie Flannery reaching for it. That was a good, solid rope by River Mailer, and she just reaches for it.
So in your mind, and as a pitcher that won a national championship in the Big Ten at Michigan, a Game 7 tonight for both sides, in theory, if you're a pitcher at Oregon or a pitcher at Stanford and you still have a pulse, all hands are on deck, I would imagine. You're telling Coach, I'm good to go.
You pretty much rode one arm, so yeah, if you had a pulse, you threw. It was pretty much, if your arm was still on, you threw.
Barry offered, and the throw down to first.
But I mean, going back to that, why wouldn't you want to? And that's what it goes back to. When you're that competitive, you want the ball in your hand. You want to throw. And there's no doubt that, I mean, the pitchers here, you shouldn't want to be looking in the dugout saying, okay, who's gonna jump in now? It's, give me the ball, let me do it. And the hitters are good. You've got to find a way to look different. You've got to find a way to spin the ball. Maybe you're good if you're looking at Sokolsky right now, like her changeup's on right now. Maybe this game finishes the way it is. Next game, your rise ball's got to be a little bit different. You got to throw that more, and you mix your changeup a little bit different. Different pitches, different count. And that's what you do when maybe you're a limited staff like Stanford, or you got to go in and throw multiple games against the same team.
Bracy Rosa has stayed in behind home plate to catch Sokolsky. Kira Chanzo for 1. Two outs here in the 5th inning. Looped foul. 2-2. Crescio in right field. And the 2-2 too far inside. The Chan was hit by the pitch. Now the Ducks just 1-1-2-3 frame against Stanford now in almost 2 games here in Eugene. That came back in our 3rd inning today. Won't happen here, as the frame is extended for Joey Economides.
They're certainly know where Chan could go on that one.
Liberty and Texas A&M scoreless in the bottom of the second. And Texas A&M designated the home team that game 7. Arkansas and Oklahoma State finally underway. The Fayetteville Regional, and the Razorbacks out to a 3-0 lead. Top of the second there. You see the scores flash in the top right-hand corner of the screen.
I think one thing we saw yesterday from Sokolsky when they were playing Weber State in that elimination game was that she walked a lot of batters. So if you're Stanford and you're kind of scouting that, and you're knowing that her pitches mix, you've got to be a little bit patient. You see here getting behind 3-0. You've got to be kind of aware of that and wait for the pitches to come into that zone. See Grind already warming up. Maybe a chance to re-enter here. Can't let this game get away from you. And again, that's the danger of this Stanford lineup. You've got a 7-run lead, and yet you can't let it kind of get away from you.
3 straight out of the zone. Now Canamitas takes for strike 1. Texas A&M just launched a 2-run homer. And now a 2-0 lead against Liberty. Still early in College Station. Canamitas will draw the walk. So Chan was hit by the pitch after 2 quick outs. And Canamitas now standing at first base on the free pass. And here's where the Stanford lineup becomes very interesting. Kaylin Koch doubled the last time up. Now 6 hits in Eugene, and Missy Lombardi doesn't want anything else happening here.
Sokolsky had 5 walks in 6 innings yesterday in that Weber State game.
And Sokolsky with a smile, a couple of high fives, and appears to still have plenty of confidence.
Again, another maybe opportunity to reset. I wish I had, nobody keeps a stat on this, but the amount of times you see a pitcher respond after a coach comes and has a conference in the circle, it kind of blows me away. Pitchers tend to have a reset, and they tend to go and attack the batter right after it.
My bigger issue is, let's just go ahead and get a microphone on Coach Lombardi, and I want to hear what's being talked about out there.
I'd love to mic
That's the access we need. What are we waiting on?
I would tell you some of my conferences were not appropriate for microphones.
Which makes me want to hear them even more so. Those are the ones we want to hear. Right. We can beep them out. We've got the technology. Koch sitting back. 1 hop over to short. Sinicki, you know she's up to the challenge. And Stanford already been determined not able to host with the construction of their new softball stadium. Of course, they played in Stanford's football stadium, Stanford Stadium, this spring. So unable to host in the regionals or the supers. Stanford ends up winning here in Eugene. They would not be able to host regardless of what occurs in College Station. Outside a full count. Of course, if Oregon wins and Liberty upsets Texas A&M, the Ducks would be in position to host next weekend the super regional round against the Flames.
And does that make the stakes a little bit higher here for the Ducks?
I think if you are watching this game, you have your eyes on what's happening down in Texas for sure. Well, spinning throw by Kern is errant, but the throw back to second is accurate. And the tag is applied by River Mailer for a very eventful and high-stress first out.
And a lot happening there and a lot of really good defense. Maybe not the right chance if you're Kaylin Jones to go to second base there. First of all, Taryn Kern, to even make this play or an attempt on this play was phenomenal. She goes back and gets his ball, and it was great. Great backup by Allie Clements behind the plate. Ultimately, by the time Allie Clements backed that up, it was an easy out at second base.
Yeah, very routine. So Jones singles out at second, and that'll go 2-6.
Here's the full play here. See how far back Kern goes on this. Makes the play. Had to be quick. Not the right call with the backup. For the first base coach to make that call. To send Kaylin Jones.
That play that we just replayed has been what this entire weekend has been.
It's wild.
It's been great. It's been fun. It's been a roller coaster ride. And Flannery aboard on 4 straight out of the zone. Now the brackets came out. Oregon and Stanford in the same regional. Thoughts of decades of incredible games played between these two old Pac-12 rivals emerged. Kyla Shar has scored 3 times today, and another knock to center field. Flannery at second. Third hit of the game for Kyla Shar, and she has been putting on a show. With the numbers. 2 more hits today for Kedry. 466 now on the season.
And this is a tough situation. I mean, by the way, Kyla Shar getting up every inning but the 4th. You have to harp on that, but that is a tough way to try to win a ball game if you're Stanford. And when you get Kyla Shar up 5 times in 6 innings, you're also getting Kedry Luchar up 5 times in 6 innings usually.
Great point by you.
Unless Kyla Shar gets out, which she has not. You're just putting yourself in a tougher situation, and you're not setting yourself up for success. And that's, you know, kind of the unfortunate part. Kedry Luchar has gotten out twice, but of those 9 plate appearances, twice is just not enough when you really think about it. They've scored 5 times. It's just a lot of run production from 2 people.
Who happen to be related. Bases are loaded. The lead at 7. Oregon, despite the fact it's playing here at Jane Sanders Stadium, not the home team. So Stanford still does get another trip to the plate if the Ducks tack on at least 1 more run here. Flannery at third, Kyla Shar at second, Kedry Luchar at first. And here comes Riley McCoy.
Good pitch there on the corner. No room, though, for Riley McCoy. She hasn't seen a whole lot of good pitches since she's hit that home run either, though.
She's been aboard 4 times. Dribble over to third, throw to home. They'll get the force out. Jade Berry heads up play. And again, that 8th run. The 13th overall, the 8-run advantage. Now in the 6th inning, Ducks would have a chance to run rule Stanford after the Cardinal did it yesterday.
And the value of getting that leadoff out, or that out at home, kind of saves that opportunity. It gives you another chance. It bought you 3 outs, essentially in the 7th inning.
Well, Stephanie Maake may have had the best dance moves we've seen here in Eugene, and we've seen a bunch from several different teams this weekend. They were playing shout after the last break. And off the back leg, that'll bring home another run. 13-5. Kai Luchard touches home plate. 4th time she has scored today.
Look how far in this pitch was. I mean, there is nothing Maake can do about this. Hits her right in the calf.
Sinicki. That pitch almost grazed her. And now it's time to talk about it in the circle. Sinicki will walk halfway down the third baseline. She's 2 for 2 today.
And Jessica Allister just needing her pitcher to reset at this moment. You got 2 outs in this inning. It's 13-5, but you need her to kind of get back, refocus on fundamentals, technique, and just work to get outs. And when you start seeing your pitcher that, again, has these moments of hit by pitches and walks too many times, you can't let her go too far down that rabbit hole. Reset her mind and just work to attack the zone. To me, sometimes it looks a little bit like a technique issue. Body gets out of position a little bit, and all of a sudden the ball starts trailing too far in on the batter.
Already 25 pitches for Chung. 3 straight out of the zone. And that comes after Maake was hit. (14-5). The walk and the RBI for Sinicki. And that brings home Kedri Luchard. And if you're Stanford, it's getting late, and you start to think about what could be happening later tonight. And no doubt Alyssa Houston's going to factor in Jessica Allister's plans. Oregon would love to tack on another run or 2 and had the cushion a little bit more. And that's going to happen on a throw in the dirt. McCoy scores. 15-5. And both runners advance. Maake now at third base, Sinicki at second.
You can see this ball just cutting so short. Clemens having to really work to try to keep that ball in front of her. Chung, who has officially thrown 2 innings, has a career high of 8 walks. It's a tough situation when you're, the score is high. You don't have depth in your pitching staff, and at this point, you're asking your senior pitcher to just battle through it.
Rosa strikes out, and the inning comes to a close. The Ducks add 3 more, and a chance to end it. Home. If you're Stanford, who do you start in the circle? If you're Oregon,
Houston, no question.
And
that's an easy one.
All right, that's the easy one. That was by design. If you're Oregon, Missy Lombardi, what are you thinking about who gets the ball first?
The way this game's finishing, like, my gut would say Sokolsky, just because Stanford is not really hitting her well, but I feel like that's because of the momentum of the game. I would probably go back with Grime. I know that sounds funny, but I think I'd go back with Grime.
She just nodded her head yes, right as you said that.
She said, give me the ball, right?
I think she's dialed in.
I hear you. Give me the ball. There's something about going with your ace, and especially someone that gives you the fire, that I think this team rallies behind Lindsey Grine, and to me, that might be what they need mentally to propel you. And that doesn't mean maybe you pull her out in the first inning. Maybe you pull her out after, 2 innings. Who knows? But I think that might be kind of what sets them off in the right direction. Who knows? Be interesting to see what happens, because part of me feels like Missy Lombardi might start Sokolsky.
2 great options. Different pitchers, the Oregon Ducks, and the strikeout.
And keep in mind, that's what Sokolsky started yesterday.
Welcome back here at the NCAA Softball Regionals, presented by Capital One. Jane Sanders Stadium, Eugene, Oregon. And the Ducks 2 outs away, forcing a winner-take-all Game 7.
I think she's owning him right now. But again, to me, this is a momentum. When you are just kind of feeling defeated, it's hard to really settle in and make adjustments.
Well, there was something that felt right when the brackets were announced, and Stanford is going to travel here to Eugene because of their old ties to the Pac-12. And there's something that also feels right about Stanford winning the first matchup, and then now Oregon bouncing back if it holds on to win the second. And the winner of this regional then gets decided in essentially Game 3 of the series.
It just seems to me like if you took all the softball fans in the world and said, okay, who do you think is going to win between Oregon and Stanford? 50% of them would have said the Ducks, and 50% of them would have said Stanford. It just seems so evenly matched in that way.
Texas A&M continues to lead Liberty 2-0 in the 3rd inning in College Station. Big leads for Arizona and UCLA. Speaking of former Pac-12 schools, 11-1 and 10-1. The Los Angeles and Tucson regions.
Sokolsky keeping it inside. Allie Clemens is connecting with pitches today. But if you keep it inside enough, it's hard to square up. in fair territory.
Clements smacks it foul.
You can see the power she has, but again, you live on that inside corner inside enough. There's not much you can do with that. Clements has kind of gotten in that rhythm of fouling it off. This is a perfect time to bring that change up in.
Sokolsky calls time. On the verge of delivering her 50th pitch. We've talked a lot about momentum. The Oregon perspective, you would love to just slam the door shut right now. Don't give up any hits, any runs. Secure the win. And then carry that over into Game 7 tonight. If you're Stanford, you'd love to try to make this last a little bit longer. Get a couple of batters aboard. Try to steal some of that mojo back. The Cardinal had it all before first pitch today, and even stole it after Oregon scored 2 in the top of the first. They responded with 2 quick runs. Awkward hop over to Flannery. How about that one?
Now that one was such a slow hop. I wasn't sure that Clements wasn't going to beat it out. Flannery made a phenomenal throw. Look how slow this hop was. A good bounce to it. Flannery had to cover a lot of ground. Makes the great throw to it. On the run. A bullet to first base. And you're right, though. I mean, Stanford wants to stay out here. They want to buy themselves another inning, mostly because you want to wear a pitcher down. You want to get into and have them throw as many pitches as possible so that Game 2, even if the outcome of this game doesn't end in your favor, you want Game 2 to be with tired pitchers as much as possible.
Now, Oregon had to play late into the night yesterday. Held off Weber State after losing to Stanford 14-1. Turnaround here to this afternoon back in Eugene. An emotional, energized first 2 frames. And a 7-2 lead. That started to evaporate. And the Ducks have responded since. 5-run 5th, 3 more in the 6th. And 1 out away from a run rule win. 2-0 to Kern, stays high. Kern has plenty of power in her bat. She has paced Stanford this year with 19 home runs. Mainstay in that leadoff spot. And a Stanford team that is much more known for its offense this year than any year that we can remember. Numbers certainly support that. Shift is on for Kern. Change up makes it a full count.
Kern has just been patient through this at bat. The crowd coming to their feet. 3-2 count here.
Swung on and missed, and Sokolsky secures the win for Oregon. 15-5 the final. And there is more work to do tonight in Eugene.
And you can see the emotion on Sokolsky's face. This a must-win game from the Oregon Ducks, and in a huge way, a necessary win that the offense showed up big time. Lindsey Grine and Elise Sokolski paired